Hello, everybody, and welcome to Athletic Definition. My name is Coach Ray Z, and today I'm going to be talking about uh, an eye injury that I received doing jujitsu, training jujitsu. Eye injuries. I was looking into them when it happened to me, and uh, they're very common according to Google in basketball, water sports, uh, racket sports, and in jujitsu, it's not very common. But when you try and look up information on it, there's not too much. So I thought it would be a great way to provide information for. Hopefully, if it happens to you, you know what to do. So as far as my research, Google is the largest search engine in the world. So if you look up jujitsu eye injuries, and just give me 1 second here because I'm filling out the fortune cookie as well. And if you go to Google and you type in eye injuries for jujitsu, I without putting it on date order, the first thing that comes up is an article from August 9th, 2015, and it's from shreddog.com. And that kind of goes to show you that there's not too much information on what to do, and of course you'd want to go see your doctor. uh, but my doctor told me stop training, and a lot of us don't want to stop training, so we look for alternatives. And I came up with a pretty good one after doing more and more research. um, Also, the world's largest search engine is Google. I'm sorry, YouTube now. So first it's Google. So if you go there and you can't find it, then you're most likely going to go to YouTube. And if you go to YouTube and you search Jiu-Jitsu eye injury, the most recent video, and in fact, it's probably like the only video on there, is from May 10th, 2016. And it's called BJJ Eye Injury Prevention, and it is posted by I got a lot of good information. I'm not sure his name, but I want to make sure I give him a shout out. It's called Fisk. That's FISK BJJ. And for some reason, even though jiu-jitsu is not very common to get eye injuries, his dojo was going through a lot of injuries, and they started doing goggles. So he said after trying on all kinds of different goggles, what he found the most useful and helpful was skydiving goggles, which makes sense because for depending on the sport you're doing it, the goggles are going to move a lot. So they were the best, and basically they had little holes in the goggle which prevented them from fogging up. But he still felt that they moved around a lot. And in jiu-jitsu, we use, well, depending, and also in freestyle wrestling, high school wrestling, you'll see this. And you put this basically over your ears. And this is for protection to prevent cauliflower ear, which is from a lot of pressure. And you can actually get it from more than, like, you can get it from a good slap to the ear. And so then the blood vessels pop open, and the blood will just stay in there. So you have to get it drained. It happened to me one time when I started jujitsu, I was like probably too aggressive with my head, and I would lean on it a lot, trying to put top pressure. And so I had to get my ear drained. And I can talk about that as well. Doctors don't want you to train after they drain your ear, or some of them don't even want to drain your ear. So even with this, the guy on the video, he put this on and it would still move around. So I just kept searching uh, on the internet, and then I started looking at in the NBA, because in the NBA there's actually quite a few players that have worn goggles, uh, and they actually went like just going back to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, probably one of the most famous and still the NBA leading scorer, wore goggles. Um, but now with some broken noses in the NBA that they got as well, they started kind of wearing like full mask to protect their whole face. And so I was looking into the face mask too, to see if I could wear it for protection uh, for the eye injury, because my doctor pretty much told me don't train jujitsu for a year, really 2 years, because after it's going to be like soft skin and it can still tear. In jujitsu, you wear really heavy gis. They feel almost like burlap. And what we do is You get this and you just rub it across someone's face, so it could easily reopen it, and then it'll turn into like that boxer scar tissue. So definitely didn't want that. Wanted to continue training, but um, you know, it's not like I'm a pro athlete and I have to go to work. So you kind of have to decide, what you want. But I still kept looking, and I actually don't remember how I came across this guy, but um, the movie's kind of hard to find, and the masks wouldn't have worked well, and they were really expensive for jiu-jitsu. And so I came across this guy named John Tregan, I believe is his last name, and he has a movie that he came out with, and pretty much everyone that I tell about this movie, they kind of don't believe me because you're not allowed to wear any sort of like eye goggles in freestyle wrestling or high school, but he did. And he came up with a kind of a brilliant idea. And so what I did is first I just went to Walmart. That was the easiest place to go because on the internet you could find better deals, but I want to try them on. Never really wore goggles, so I went to Walmart. It came with this case right here. Um, and then these right here, I believe they're called the Sport Specs, and they're just, you know, basic protection, nothing fancy. You put them on like this. I started wearing them for basketball. That way I could continue to play basketball. Um, so there is a few problems with these goggles, and I'll get into them. One is I haven't worn them in a long time, so they're dirty. So you want to make sure they're clean. But two is as you're training, wrestling. So when I would train, I wouldn't wear these. I would only when you're like doing jujitsu, depending on where you go, you do a warm up, and then you learn like the technique of the day, and then you go over it, and then that's when you do free rolling. So when I'm going over the technique with my partner is when I would put these on, or and then at that point you're kind of nice and warm. You start sweating. So what can happen is basically these fog up, and then now you have no vision. So there's this product called cat crap, which is this. And what you do is you get this product and you spray it on your goggles before on the front and the back. And then you just kind of like let it dry a little bit, wipe it down. And it actually does help. It helps your goggles from getting all foggy. So you can have that vision and still be able to use it. So for basketball, it was perfect. These goggles they wouldn't move really, and then with the crap, it was no problem. Now when it came to jujitsu, there was still a problem because these would move. They no matter what, they would move. They would move, and what happens is when they would move, I would let go of a position, sometimes a better position, a more dominant position to try and fix my glasses. And it was pretty annoying because every time you try and fix your glasses, well, you're moving your hand and now they grabbed your hand, now you're on your face and now they got your back. And it was frustrating. And I just kept telling myself, this is the only way you're able to train. It's either this or nothing. And just think of it as a learning lesson. Um, my defense got better, and knowing that I gave up a dominant position, it wasn't them that caused it. Just different mindsets, and knowing that even if you're in a bad position, you put your goggles on, you're in a worse position. You're learning from that. It's all a learning experience. So I still wanted to fix it, though. To me, it wasn't enough. And this was back in 2008. So now it's 2021, and there's still not much more information. I just finished Googling it, and I wanted to fix it. So this is what, and the guy made a movie. It's basically about his eye injury because he got permission to wear the goggles um, to continue wrestling, and that's where people doubt it because they've never really heard of it. And I'll show a picture of him. But so what he did is he wore the goggles and then he put this ear protection. And for those of you who are only listening in, the basic ear guards for freestyle wrestlers. And what he would do is he'd put it on. Now I'm putting it on backwards. But then when he's wrestling and the opponent, they're purposely grabbing the goggles and pulling them down, and now they're purposely getting. This is pretty sturdy once you lock it in the ear guards, but they would move the goggles. So what he came up with, which I thought is brilliant, and I was just about to do it, but then I didn't need it anymore, and I started training without the goggles, and my eye was fine. At first, I was really hesitant, nervous about it. But so what basically he came up with was uh, getting headgear like this, and then you get the goggles, and these would have been even perfect because some of them you'd have to saw. But what he did is he just took these and he welded them to the ears, and so now it's basically if they'd have to move the whole ear guard to make the goggles move. Now the goggles couldn't just be pulled down and then the ear guards, because then now you're messing with your ear guards and the goggles, which when you're trying to win a match to get the advantage, a lot of people were like, if I, it's been years since I watched it. 2008 was when I had the injury. No, 2018 is when I had the injury. So I don't remember most of it. It's hard to get, it's hard to find. I believe I found it on Amazon and I paid for the movie. So if you want to show support to him, because really that's the idea where I got it from, and I haven't seen anybody else, but that's a picture of him right there. And that's him with the goggles. Hopefully you can see it with the light from my camera, but that's him right there. And that's the best idea. I've never seen anybody do it. There's people that are really careful about their ears. Nobody really wants cauliflower ears at all. I mean, that I know of. Some people are very proud of them. If I always tell my son or my nephews, if you ever see some guy and you guys are arguing and you see a big old cauliflower ear popping out, just apologize and say I'm sorry and walk away, because those are dangerous people. Most of them are really nice, but those takedowns could be very dangerous. Just even the freestyle takedowns. So um, that's what I came up with for the eye injury. And as I mentioned, hopefully you never have to go through with it. At the time, I was a white belt when it happened, and my friend Thomas, who was a blue belt at the time, is actually the one that caused it. Uh, and it was with an accidental knee to the face as he was passing my guard. And it was pretty tough, At first, I didn't even realize what happened. I wanted to continue training. Then my instructor said, "You need to go to the emergency room." And I don't really do hospitals. At the time, I was working for the bank, and with good insurance, I ended up paying over $500 to get my eye stitched up and then the stitches removed. I had, I believe, a total of 8 stitches. If you go to my Instagram, I put it on the story, but they put 2 stitches inside that dissolved by themselves, and the rest I had to go and get them pulled. And it was not a good experience. And then paying $500, and then with the doctor telling you, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue to train, or it could keep getting opened up, and then you're gonna have to keep getting stitches on it, and it's just gonna get uglier and uglier. And then I don't know if people have seen the boxer scar tissue, how it just keeps like overlayering, and definitely didn't want that. But I wanted to train, and that's all the research that I did. And um, as I mentioned, hopefully it helps someone out there. Hopefully you don't have to use it. In basketball, for all the years I've been playing, luckily I've never seen anyone get an eye injury while I was playing. And even thinking about it, I've seen a few in the NBA, but not as many as like what from what I was reading. And hopefully this helps. There was a couple other things I was going to mention regarding the training and the eye injuries, but um, I try and have all my notes right here. But sometimes there's so much, and uh, today was a pretty busy day, and I did all my research at the very end. But I know that there's not no recent information, so if anyone can benefit from this, please do. And let's see. Also, be careful with your goggles. This is the second pair I had to buy because you could lose them easily. You're not like used to carrying an extra pair. You're not used to carrying glasses while you're training in jiu-jitsu. So I think I ended up leaving them somewhere. I don't know what happened to them. I believe these were maybe like $60. So it's not like, and that's just with like plastic. It's not even prescription because you can get them with prescription glasses if you have glasses, and that's something that you want to do. Um, I've never seen anyone train with goggles except for me when I did jujitsu, uh, and pretty much at the time I was going to different gyms. So everybody, when you go to a jujitsu academy, they're always very nice, very kind, and they'll kind of ask you about your injury. So they try to work around it, but at the same time they're going to use it to their advantage to get the dominant position, and that's understandable. That's all part of the training. Um, The other thing I was, oh yeah, let me get those medals. All right. So, as I mentioned, when I got that eye injury, I was a white belt. I got up to blue belt. This is my blue belt. On here, I got some Scotch Guard, but it's still got gone. I had it signed by a BJ Penn, which was pretty cool. I got to meet with him and train with him, former UFC fighter. And this is the I've done many jiu-jitsu tournaments, but this is the only one that I ever placed in, which was back in 2007. So next week, we're gonna go back to guest. I will have Mike on Friday, who is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and also very knowledgeable coach in I love his posts, everything he does, and I just know he's knowledgeable because I see some of the training he does, and it's what people need to do. And then Thursday, I will have my guest Laura, so back to regular guests. But the next time I have a regular show without a guest, just depending on time, I will share the story of when I completed the San Francisco Marathon, and then within less than a week, which was 5 days later, I competed in this jiu-jitsu tournament and had to go into a lower age bracket because there was no one at my age. And then I still got second place. So this is the medal from San Francisco. And I'll be kind of going over that for the next one. So as I mentioned, these are the shorter shows just with me because I don't want to schedule and then have to cancel on guests. It's been kind of hectic around here, but I want to be consistent. I believe this is episode number 33. So thank you, everybody, for showing support. I saw that we got another state listening in. I believe it was North Carolina. So thank you for whoever's listening in there. And Germany's still showing support. Last time I mentioned 5 countries, but I only said 4. So to everyone listening in Canada, and it looks like it's Ontario, Canada, thank you for your support. Keep on listening. And in Germany, appreciate your support. I can see that you guys keep listening in. And to everybody else listening in, the only other thing that I get a lot of requests and emails and smoke signals is you guys keep asking for more commercial product placements. So, due to popular demand, I'm going to tell you that if you want to run a marathon and you would like to earn some cool bling, this is my Orange County bling. I mean, who doesn't like bling bling, right? So, if you would like to earn bling bling, you can sign up for this year's Orange County Marathon, which is November 7th, and you can get 10% off by using Ray Runs 10, and that is for any distance, 5K, half marathon, or marathon. Or if you feel, hey, I need some time to train, well, you can use it for the marathon next year as well. So it's a great way to stay motivated. We're in the holiday season. This is when we start, drinking those specialty coffees. So there's sugar everywhere, and I know, being Mexican American, there's tamales everywhere. So it's tamales season and I'm excited. So do whatever you can to stay motivated. If you would like to work out or say you want to do the marathon, you're like, I don't know how to do one. You can go to my website, which is www.coachrayz.com. See if we're a good fit. I do customized everything. I don't have any programs on there because everything is customized. Life is pretty hectic. So sometimes you don't get to do what the coach wants you to do. And if you can't, I need to know so I can make adjustments to it. So reach out to me. You can get a 30-minute free consultation. And I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. We will I will be back this Monday with a new episode of Drunks, co-hosted with Ty, and I'm looking for some sort of pumpkin flavored uh, beer because it'll be our Halloween episode, and he's going to be drinking from California Adventure with his wife. So we're going to see how that works out. That'll be a first, and so thank you everybody for listening in, tuning in, showing the support. This is Coach Ray Z. Until next time, you have a great weekend.